All right, so we'll kind of start from the front. And actually, before I get into that, I'll do a little before, not even a side-by-side comparison between the two cars here. I'll switch over to this. So I don't know. I guess I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I've got two Misano cars. The color of this car is called Misano Red, and there was no other Misano paint until they made this car. Actually, that's not true. Until they made the 1 Series, which had this color. This is Misano Blue, and so I've got a Misano Blue and a Misano Red. They're both. I mean, technically this is an M2 and this is an M3, but there's a lot of similarities. You can tell one came from the other one, right? And I'm not sure if the camera can kind of pick it up here, but we got the flared boxy arches on this car. It's pretty much the same thing. You can see it kind of scoop in a little bit over there, and obviously very much so on the other side there. Let me just try to kill the. No, still the same. So anyway, so this car, I'll talk through some of the particulars about it, what makes it unique or special. So this car is built on the Evo 2 platform. The M3s have not a complicated history, but they kind of do. So there's the base M3 that came out in, I think it was 86 or 87. Then they made an evolution of that, which had a couple minor changes. The Evo 2 had most notably many changes. There were 500 of those that were made. Let's put this back here this way. Okay. So most Evos, I'm sorry, Evo 2s, I should say, had a tri-colored valve cover on the engine. This one doesn't have that because this is a special edition, so I'll get to that in a second. They also had a number of things. They had 16-inch wheels with a kind of a polished lip. They had a deeper chin spoiler, as you can see there. They also had lighter rear glass. Back here, this is sort of like a light, it's more kind of plasticky, but it's real glass. They also had a different lip spoiler. There's kind of two here. There's obviously the wing and then the lip spoiler there. They also had a number of other features which I'm blanking out right now, and I'm not going to harp on that. You can learn and read about that from any other video, but I will now kind of highlight some of the differences on this Cecotto edition. So the Cecotto edition, there were 505 actually made. There's a split between a Cecotto and a Rivalia. Cecotto was named after the race car driver that drove for BMW in the DTM, was very successful, and to celebrate his wins, they created this kind of car in his name. And as a result of that, the car came with these black painted wheels. They came with body colored valve and intake manifolds. So this is being a Misano Red car, had Misano Red. Came in 3 other colors, just like the Evo 2s. It was Nagaro Silver, Macau Blue, and Misano Red here. And again, it benefited from all the changes the Evo 2 had, which a little bit more horsepower. And on the interior side, this is kind of where I think it was really fantastic. Let me see if I could get this going here. So we've got this silver dash, and most E30s didn't have a silver dash. They had black dashes. So that kind of stood out. All my other cars had black. They benefited from the silver interior with the silver carpets and obviously the M-Tech cloth. The leather used in this car is a bison leather. You had the option of getting black bison or silver bison. And if you got the black, you got black M-Tech, and if you got silver, you got the silver M-Tech seats. It also has a dogleg gearbox, and it had an M-Tech 1 steering wheel, which looks like this, which I didn't like. So when my soonest availability, I was able to get a new M-Tech 2 steering wheel that was recovered with kind of matching leather on it, and it's got the right crinkle leather to it, and doesn't have the tricolor stitching, which was found in later model cars. So yeah, and then it also has an EDC, so it's got electronic damper control. I'm sorry for the dark colors here. I didn't want to open the garage door. It's hot outside. So this allows you to go from comfort to normal to kind of sport setting. The shocks in this car were done not many miles ago. The cars basically had the same amount of mileage for like 10 years. I think there's about 89,000 kilometers on the car. 89,000 miles in the car. 131. When I got the car in the paperwork, I was looking through it. Basically, I bought it at 129 or 130 kilometers. And for the last 8 or 9 years, it was basically at the same rate. Like it didn't move anywhere, which is kind of cool. What else can I show you? Okay. So we got this. We got a numbered plaque on there. This car is number 170 out of 505. I've also got the ability to store cassettes in here, which you can't see because it's too dark. So sorry for that. And this car also came with a polished exhaust tip, which I think looks much, much better from the standard M3, which had just a black, unpolished one. Kind of finishes up and gives it some really cool character. What else did I do with the car? Get the car. This car has a sunroof on there and the radio, obviously. The engine bay is in phenomenal detail or shape. There isn't any really corrosion in here, and most of the bits have been taken care of and replaced. I've done some work on the car since I've had it. I kind of wished and imagined EAG would have been a little better on some of the replacement of items, but it's okay. I found some joy in taking care of that. A couple of things I did so far were replacing the hood strap grounding cable. There's one there. There's one underneath the expansion tank that I had the guys do at the shop. I did end up replacing the throttle cable. There was a split on it, so that's all kind of new. And I do have a leak on the power steering line, which I'll have to get to at some point in time. And I do have plans on refurbishing the airflow meter from BAV Restore. They do great work on there, and I'll also do the instrument cluster in the wintertime when I'm not driving the car. Another part that you've probably seen me talk about a number of times on this car are the tires. I don't know. I'm a geek. If you haven't seen the videos or me talk about it, then I'll kind of talk about it now. So these are Pirelli P700 tires. These are the original tire for the car, but the car came out 30 plus years ago. Pirelli just recently announced their Collezione collection, it's redundant, of tires, and they went back and they used the old molds, but made new tires based on the old molds using new technology and new compounds. So these are the period correct tires that go on the car, and I think it's like the coolest thing in the world. You might not, that's okay. What else? This car came with some really cool options. It came with headlamp washers, so these things will operate when you use the windshield wipers. Of course, I don't plan on driving the car in the rain, so they'll never get used. I did replace, these had Bosch Icon wipers on there, and doing some search on the catalog for real OEM, I did find these wiper blades with the diffuser on there, and it's hard to find, like go back in period and go find books or materials that show you what the cars look like. One of those things being the steering wheel, and noting like what kind of leather was on there. Was it a smooth leather like Napa, or was it more of a crinkled style? But I was able to find and verify in a picture that these are the correct parts for the windshield wiper arms. Yay, wonderful. What else? Oh, yeah, the paint. So paint was in fantastic shape. There were a couple of minor stone chips on the paint, which we touched up before I had the guys over at Glass Life Atlanta put on a full car PPF. Having this car PPF'd, I tell you, washing it is a breeze and easy. I don't have to worry about swirls anymore. I don't have to worry about any of that freaking nonsense. I can wash the car, dry it off, and that's kind of really it. And why that's a big deal is washing the car, you got a fairly decent likelihood, even if you take all the care in the world, of doing wash-induced scratches in the paint. You get one little piece of sand when you're drying the car or you're washing it, and not that it's the end of the world, you can polish it off, but I don't want to deal with that. I don't really have time for that. It's barely have enough time to do the things I like to do, like make these videos. So I had the whole car wrapped. So the whole thing, there are a couple spots I wish they could have done a little better with respect to like coverage. Like they only covered the face of this and not the whole thing, but I'm picking nits here.